Welcome everyone, and I'm very excited today because I finally completed the combo calculator for the hero builder for Predecessor, and I truly believe it's going to be a game changer for everyone out there that wants to cook their own build, that want to test like the limit of the system. And so we're going to enter into the details of what this tool can do. So here we have like the new starting screen of the Hero Builder version 2.0, and you still have like all the utility to be able to fully define your character as you want. You simply click on it, and here you still have like you can still select your hero, you can still select like your level, the level of every single ability, all the little like information about your own abilities. You can still equip your items, you can still equip your buff, and so this didn't change. Like it's the exact same screen as before. Of course, like for those that don't know how it works, it's simply you can select a simple select like will grab things, and a double click will remove things. Of course, there is also like some save and load capabilities, all those good stuff. But what is very nice is this new combo calculator. As we can see here, you can select some actions. And so here we have some action pre-selected for Grim, which is like a displacement blast into a GTFO. And so we can probably here try to test like how much that combo does. So for instance, I simply click on that window and that will compute everything. Basically, you're kind of selecting things of like this is the initial situation of the fight, and then like I want those actions to be casted, and we see the result. And we see that we do 780 damage because we have like the 226 damage from Displacement Blast, 516 damage from the GTFO, but also since we deal damage with two abilities, we have the passive like Pulse Fire that trigger and adds 38 damage. So all those damage combined will do this 780 damage. And this is where like the combo calculator is very nice because it computes everything for you. For instance, if you want to buy like a Noxia on Graham, and Noxia is something that deal additional damage if you deal damage with two separate abilities. And that's exactly what we're doing here with Displacement Blast and GTFO. Now you compute, and now like the damage has gone up, of course, because Displacement Blast, Pulse Fire passive, and GTFO have gone up thanks to the 85 magical power, but also because we deal the bonus damage, magical damage against marked heroes that is taken into account by the combo calculator. But of course, like the passive and the passive of Noxia goes on cooldown after you use them, and the combo calculator take that into account. So if you keep spamming other abilities, then it's not gonna proc again. So that's something that you kind of like trust in a sense to get like the exact amount of damage a combo would do. And then you can like keep cooking, selecting like the item and see how all of that evolve. Another thing that you can do with that new hero builder is you can make that like here we're facing a Drongo. The Drongo is not really reacting, but you can make the Drongo react. The same thing as Grim. You can say like, oh, maybe while we fight, like the Drongo managed to land the Old Rusty. You can select if the Old Rusty is a double hit or a single hit. Let's go for a double hit, and now you compute. And here we see that, okay, the Drongo in that fight will deal like that amount of damage back because of the Old Rusty damage, but also because when we applied Old Rusty, we apply Westlander, the passive of Drongo, and all this damage is computed. And here you can see like how much percent of health lost people have lost, also the mana that has been used, the health left at the end, because yeah, we deal that damage, but also like we can see there is a duration with that fight. Like here the duration takes a little bit longer because we have like all the tick damage of the passive of Drongo. And so during that duration, we get like the health regen that's kind of being taken into account, the mana regen, all the lifesteal, omnivamp, all those things is taken into account when we compute like the health that is remaining, for instance. And so it's very interesting because it can give you like accurate information about fights. For instance, I want to have like a Zarus. And here this Zarus, I want to say like, let's try the Zarus level 3. We put all abilities at level 1. And let's see, we have we're a fighter, so probably we're looking for a warrior crest with a simple short sword at the beginning. Let's say that's like what we're willing to go for a fight. And we're fighting against a Grux. So let's try with a Grux, and we're gonna remove like all the items with a dustbin, select like the warrior crest with a little short sword, Grux level 3, and then we get like all abilities at level 1. So now we have like our little thing set up, and now we're gonna say like, okay, I want to see if I fight for 5 seconds, like who is gonna win that fight? And so here we have another thing which is called spam. Spam is just that you select the abilities and basic attacks you want to spam, and every time that ability or that basic attack is off cooldown, it will just trigger it. That's just how it is. So let's say we start with like a simple barricade, then we go for an evade for like the boost of movement speed and attack speed, then we like spam basic attack, finish with Spear of Near. Something kind of simple. On the side of the Grux, we probably start with like the crush into basic attack. Of course, like basic attack gets spam every time they're out of cooldown. Double pain, we finish with smash and grab, and here we can like compute. And what we are going to see is like, oh, okay, so Zarus is dealing like slightly more damage than the Grux, which is interesting because like most of the time we think like the Grux is like the perfect Boolean lane. Well, there's a few things to still like take into account is, of course, it's only for 5 seconds because we're in spam mode, which means that the additional damage that will be dealt once the fight is finished is not taken into account. In the case of the Grux is like we have the bloodlust damage that so probably would have dealt like 77 more damage after the fight is finished when we disengage, because the bloodlust is still interesting, but you can see it's still like not enough to beat like the Zarus damage. And also Zarus was probably like then heal 41 damage because of like his own passive. So overall, you have to take into account those little things, but the big difference here is because we use barricade to counter a big portion of the Grux damage. So that's something that we have to be careful about. Is also like, for instance, if we remove the barricade at the cost of maybe the smash and grab on the side of Grux to keep things fair, here we can see that now the Grux is winning against the Zarus. And so my point is that here, this whole tool is simply like a tool. It doesn't give you like the exact reality of the game because like, well, it's a very elaborate Excel spreadsheet in a sense, but you still have to take into account like what is the reality of the game and try to translate that into the tool. So here, like what that tells you though, is that if you use your barricade smartly to counter a big portion of the damage of the Grux, well, you're actually gonna be able to win trade against the Grux at level 3. That's what it tells you. But if you don't use your barricade correctly, then the Grux is winning against you. So it's still like valuable, but don't forget it's just a tool. It doesn't like, it's not like the actual reality of everything. No, it's just a tool that you need to translate into reality of the fights. Let's move forward. There is like 2 more use cases I would like to cover. And so let's see here that we're looking for like a carry and you want to go into like Murdoch. Let's go like for a usual like carry build that we see a lot. Let's go that we get Pacifier. A lot of people is going to Stormbreaker. I want to test at max level, so level 18 to see a little bit how that works. So we put all abilities at max level and probably let's say like you're at 100 last hit because you get like Stormbreaker for a long time. Sky Splitter, Tented Round, Demolisher, Imperator, Equinox. Let's say like that's a build that we see a little bit of people like doing on the live, like carries are very strong and we're gonna like test that. Let's save that build simply for the sake of it and say like up Murdoch on it create mix. And now we're gonna say like, okay, let's face that build. Like, so you can simply like load the build, you don't have like to redo it. Let's go back to combo and I want to try like how much damage that build do for 2 seconds of auto attack. So 2 seconds of auto attack, that means that once you start the first auto attack, then for 2 seconds you keep spamming your auto attack. That's how it works. And here we're gonna test like how much damage we do. So we can see that we do 2947 damage, which is quite a lot. To be fair, like it's a pretty good amount of damage, but Murdoch is not dead. Like you're like, well, it's more than his health, and it's for 3.6 seconds. Like health regen, Mugi, it's not enough like to survive that. And you're right, but that means because Equinox have proc. Once again, the combo calculator calculating everything for you, kind of telling you like what is the end result. Which that's why like damage is good, but percent of health loss is also important to know if you're actually killing people. And so here, what you can do is, okay, I have that build. That's kind of like the initial build, but I want to compare that build to something else. I want to see like, is our build better? And so here you have that plus button that allows you to duplicate the fight. And once you duplicate the fight, you can simply like change like items here. I don't know, like for instance, like let's see if we go for like a more like crit chance pass. So let's remove the Stormbreaker, and let's try like maybe a Dust Devil. I don't know, like that gives you like the move speed. It can maybe be interesting. And here you compute the damage, and you can see that actually like here on that specific things of like 2 seconds of auto attack, well, Stormbreaker with 100 stack like outperform the Dust Devil, which kind of give the impression that yes, Stormbreaker into Sky Splitter is a very, very, very strong combination of abilities. So that's the type of thing you can actually do. But what is also interesting is imagine that you want to also like test like a tank build. So let's say like you go for like a Sevarog, you want to see like how Sevarog is tanky. Let's put like 160 stack, you're at max level. We're gonna select like, I don't know, let's go for like a Sapphire's Mantle, usually like something we can do. And then you can have like core items, which probably is gonna be Fire Blossom, Elafrost, Flux Matrix. And from here, you kind of want to see like, okay, what can I do to be like more tanky? Probably since like how carry are so strong, maybe we go for a Frost Guard. Warden's Fist can be interesting, also like to be close and say that we're nearby the opponent, and we want like an additional like magical item, and we can like maybe go like for the Void Helm because that gives like more healing source for like the Siphon, all those good things. So now we have like that tank, and now you can test like how tanky you are. So you can see here you're not taking that much damage for 2 seconds of auto attack of the Murdoch, but of course, like against a tank, probably you auto attack for slightly longer. We can maybe add a buckshot into the equation, and here we can compute again, and we can see that here the damage goes up. But what is interesting also like as tank is this percent of health loss, like that's what you want to compare. But also you probably want to do a build that is good against like 2 types of damage. Here, for instance, if we had like a Gideon to the equation, here like we want the Gideon to be able to do like, you want to be able to tank like 2 types of damage. So let's go like for a simple build for Gideon. We can go like, I guess, Combustion, looking for what further, like a Tainted Scepter can be pretty good. We're looking maybe at the Noxia for the burst into the Caustic Cap because we want some pen. Oblivion Crown, and let's round up with Spellbreaker just because like probably they only have 1 CC to counter your ultimate. Who knows? And here you can like start to try to compute those different things and see like how much damage it does. So here like I click compute, but nothing had happened on the side because simply, well, I didn't select anything in terms of ability. And let's see that we go like for maybe like a simple combo from that Gideon with like a few auto attacks, and now we can compare. And here you can see like you're very, very tanky actually against the Burst of Mage, way less against like the carries. And so maybe you can like cut a little bit of like magical defense, like maybe this Void Helm that looks like kind of nice could actually like be, I don't know, something that is more like physical power. Like let's add Stonewall, for instance, instead. And now you can compare how those things are actually faring. So of course, like we're going to be like slightly less tanky, but apparently like not that much, while we're like probably going to be like slightly more tanky, but against like the Murdoch. And so this type of thing that you can actually use the hero builder to be able like to just cook your own build and find what is best for yourself. So I will also in the future like kind of bring back like some weekly theorycraft challenge that if you want some fun to try to kind of see your skill as a chef when it comes to cooking builds, to try to give like a little bit of dynamics around like that tools, and also like helping people understand a little bit better what items are. But I can't wait to see what people are going to do with that tools. Feel free to share all the feedback you have for it, either through the form that is on the webpage or also like through my Discord or my DMs in Discord as well. Like they are always open. I want to make this tool the most useful possible for the community so we can all like have a better understanding on what to build and when. And that's why like I've released that build, and I hope you're gonna enjoy it. I can't wait to like cook myself. I can't wait to see what you cook. That's gonna be a blast. Really a game changer. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Mugi out.